The Mendelssohn Octet is like a classic amongst classics. It's a piece that's as beloved today as it was 200 years ago when it was first performed. People are always astonished to find out Mendelssohn was only 16 years old when he composed the octet. He was more proud of the innovation in the piece. He was out to create a revolution. He wanted to write music that was never written before, inspired by a poem by Goethe from Faust, having to do with clouds and mist and being lit from above and rustling of leaves. And suddenly, all has vanished.
It's more or less a equal partnership piece. So 8 people, they all have everybody has a very completely different voice.
You hardly ever hear 8 independent voices going at the same time. Very complicated stuff. Maybe what interested us more than the perfection of the music was the spirit behind it, the inspiration, the genesis of the piece, which is why it was fascinating to look at that first manuscript. We're lucky with the octet to have the final published version, which came many years after this original score in his own handwriting. You know, when you open the first page, it's written out in 8th notes, whereas later that whole thing was rewritten into 16th notes.
Obviously, the whole conception is different. I mean, even the time signature is different. You know, it's a cut half. He essentially completely rewrote the piece.
One of the clearest differences is in the tempo markings.
It was definitely faster than what I used to play, but whenever we want to take time or take a section a little held back, there was much more room.
At first, it was so fast, but then also so refreshing and so exciting as well. And why? Yeah, he was 16.
And you listen to this particular recording and you will hear something very different because it is different from the score.
Everybody knows how it goes, and all of a sudden there's something that's very, very striking and fresh, and you know, it still comes from Mendelssohn.
We are big enough to cover the broad repertoire and produce the full sound of an orchestra, but also at the same time small enough to play as a real chamber group.
Because of their size and numbers, to change the sound and change almost what the ensemble is. We have a great flexibility that way.
We feel very comfortable with each other, and the rehearsals are very, very intense.
We've all known each other for so long that musically we can anticipate what someone else is going to do. And you're right, whether it's body language or you hear a little, or a little,
right.
or
occasional sigh,
the eyebrow raises, or something like that. But then also socially and personally, we become like family.
They sound like a group because they know what to expect. They know what to expect of each other.
That artistic vision and that perfectionism and that goal, it was very inspiring.
Also in collaboration working with Gil is always very special. Gil always keeps things very light and fun and exciting.
As a violinist, he's a genius. We all love him, and it's just phenomenal inspiration. But at the same time, he's so humble.
Immediately I felt like I was his friend, and he was so down to earth and just led the rehearsal as if he was one of us.
Gil, I mean, he's such a gentle soul, and he speaks so softly, and yet he is so easy to approach.
It's a little bit like sitting in a room with 7 Michael Jordans, you know, and here I am with my graying hair, and I'm trying to keep up with these guys. And it's just an incredible level of music making. If you want to get 8 people to smile for a camera at the same time, you know, to play an octet is sort of like getting 8 people to smile for a camera for 30 minutes.
We start collaborating as a group and then with Gil, and then also later once we get in the studio with Dahong, and it's always great to have such an excellent set of ears on the outside.
I have a very big advantage to be a recording producer and recording engineer, in a sense, because I am trained as a violinist.
But whenever I play in recordings for Dahong, I feel like ready to be picked on, you know?
Some stuff sounded fantastic and the way exactly it should be, and sometimes didn't sound quite right. And then I tried to figure out what didn't sound right.
He doesn't hold back. He's very upfront about everything.
And you know, he knows recording, because recording is so different from concerts.
Yeah.
He'll be like, Gil, that fingering, I don't know. Do you want to try the other fingering? And it's, you know, most of the time it's like, yeah, you're right. Okay.
Musically, all the lines are very clean, and then technically, you know, this spotless.
It's just not yet another usual suspects Mendelssohn Octet recording.
This recording is a Grammy caliber. Because I sincerely believe it. You know, I don't say that very often.
It's an incredible journey, you know, it's what great music is. After you hear it, you feel like you've experienced a great novel. It's a great, great work of art.
In a sense, you have to sort of dig it out, what's good about it yourself. I mean, otherwise, it wouldn't mean much.